Yeah, this is the Hawk. Sorry, the other day, the system crashed on me while I was starting to talk about this. South African government during this pandemic has deliberately issued statements saying they will not provide food parcels for white citizens in South Africa. In the last 10 years, can employ 10 people. That's a lot of employment that's lost. Since 1994, when the ANC came to power, there were 60,000 commercial farms. The South African government has deployed the military all over South Africa. Operation Chariot. What's the point? Is this just a power grab? Let's talk about China and why South Africa is in bed with China. The reason they're in bed with China is because they're supplying the rest of the world out of South Africa because South Africa has great tariffs where they don't have to pay export tariffs from South Africa. Now, this Huawei 5G situation, the Chinese put it in South Africa. South Africa is completely in bed with them, praising the communist president in the books that he writes. But I want to explain something to the black population in South Africa. Yet the ANC government today has more racial laws discriminating against whites and minorities than at any time in the history of South Africa. The absolute lie by Ramaphosa. The lie is that black on black violence in South Africa was created between the ANC and the IFP. Faction fights between families. And in fact, only 22,000 people died. This included murder from 1948 to 1990. The taxi business in South Africa does not care about your pandemic. They want to make money. The South African army does not have enough trained people or people to sustain or control what is going on. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of schools are being looted right now. Shops, businesses, schools are being burnt down. While that idiot, General Sele, is talking about and rape, he's worried about cigarettes and alcohol. Talk about a complete idiot. China has now basically taken over most of the Southern African countries that they've loaned money. It proves that Ramaphosa sold the mineral rights of South Africa to the Chinese. They're in bed with China, praising the communist regime. They're using the ports in South Africa to ship. Greatly happy to tell the world that the United States supplies South Africa with $9.4 billion in US foreign aid. In fact, 3 weeks ago, they gave South Africa 8 million rand for this pandemic. We see no hospitals, no masks, no anything other than the police beating people up in the streets and forcing people into the townships, looting, burning, stealing, murdering, raping is the order of the day. To praise Ramaphosa is a joke. The EFF sent a letter to the president. If they have some sort of power to dictate to the most powerful person in the world what they want. These are like pissants. You can just stand on them and squash them. To the idiots that try to threaten me and tell us that the US military couldn't. The United States military took out the Iraqi military in 24 hours. They wouldn't even do it in 6 hours in South Africa. When you change your guard system in all your camps, who your commanders are, where they live, then you're very, very mistaken. President Trump locked down the United States real quick. There's very little airplane flights over the United States right now. Very little amount of traffic going anywhere. This pandemic has affected thousands and thousands of people, not only in the United States, but all over the world. Suddenly, China has no cases. Anybody that thinks that China didn't create this in a lab, deliberately murder 500,000 people, probably more, and spread this virus throughout the world, they're lying to you. Not in human history has anyone ever found a cure for the common cold. And that is a fact, because it's a virus. Also consider the fact they just proved you have philanthropists like Bill Gates running around. He's on his high horse, sitting there trying to force vaccines on people and blood tests before you fly. Well, I got it. With half the population unemployed right now, probably more, very little sanitation, an arrogant mindset that they are immune to this sickness, just like they were immune to AIDS. Constant racist narratives being spread all over the place to blame everything on white people or whatever it is, or even Sangomas, Nyangas. It's absolute nonsense. The mindset that whites were trying to outpopulate black people, which is totally impossible. And what has been the biggest sickness in South Africa besides this pandemic is racism. Since 1994, racism has destroyed South Africa. Still believe this nonsense and vote for them. Land reform in South Africa is a joke, because once they pass this land reform and take the land from you, it's a communist government. You will never own the land. You will never own the title to the land. Stop believing these do not have money, do not have food, all scared of what's going on. And what did they do? They sent the army out to control down what's left. Where is your logic? I find it quite ironic that the South African government, they just put China as a member of the Human Rights Organization. They put Iran as a member of the Human Rights Organization for the UN. WHO, the World Health Organization, is run by a terrorist leader from Ethiopia. That is a fact. And people look the other way. President Trump didn't. He cut him off. And now Britain is about to cut him off too. The South African government is warned. When President Trump gets angry, he does not like what he sees. He cuts you off. In the last couple of weeks, Julius Malema and crew have insulted the United States. It's in my description below. To bring full-blown sanctions to South Africa and cut off all their legs. They do exactly the same thing to them as what the Nationalist Party did, what they did to the Nationalist Party. And believe me, there are forces that are not white, that are not American. They're South African. And they're sick of it. And they're coming. And they are preparing. And very soon, there won't be place for these people to hide. They know where every one of them lives. They know who all the players are. They have Julius Malema's number. They know where he is and everything about him. And very soon, they're going to open the floodgates to the townships and everybody's going to go back out and be sick. And the ones that are in there right now are getting sick and spreading this disease everywhere. This virus. Food parcels are not being handed out to white people because of the color of their skin, and it's blatantly been openly told by the government. The corruption in that country is so rampant. We as American citizens, last year, more and more people are becoming aware of what is going on in South Africa. We need to bring full-blown sanctions to South Africa to stop the racist murdering of farmers, the illegal stealing of land, the 164 laws that discriminate against minorities. Comments need to be brought for accountability and held for human rights violations. The entire police force of South Africa needs to be lie detector tested for criminal corruption, need to go to jail for their entire life. It is sad when the police of South Africa, during a pandemic, are more worried about alcohol and cigarettes every minute. An average of 60 people are murdered a day. But they're worried about Twala and Guais, cigarettes. Like, hit the bell for upcoming videos. I did a video the other day and my system crashed. How convenient. Share these videos, sign the petition. All I can say to all of you is look to your families. During this pandemic, wash your hands in salt water and gargle with salt water. Show your kids to do it every day, all the time. It's the only way to stop this. People are going to come to your homes. Start preparing. We do not know what this South African government's up to, especially with this Operation Chariot. It doesn't seem right. And if it is a power grab for a one-party state, you're looking at a civil war. Then the Chinese will help them. Another thing, the harbors in South Africa, the ANC government is the most corrupt government in the entire world right now. I'm calling on all the United States citizens to look at what we are dealing with here. We have a government that has criticized the United States president numerous times, insulted the United States, threatened to shoot one American with one bullet outside the embassy of South Africa. You have Lena Marx praising this government, praising them, promising to continue to give $9.4 billion in aid. While in bed with the same Chinese government that spread this virus to our country and caused mass murder throughout the world. And to all the South African families, if anybody dies of this coronavirus, you need to be accountable for each death because they are supporting the Chinese. The same Chinese that now have your mineral rights, who will soon own Eskom. They already own your government. We need to stop this aid to the South African government. We need to put sanctions on South Africa, anything they want, in violation of US sanction laws. Why are we supporting this evil government? I want to give a shout out to Mark in Canada. He did a number of rallies in Canada outside the Canadian South African embassy. He's just And we need to give him a shout out because he stood for you guys numerous times. So did many South Africans and Canadians. You need to look at the Chinese connection with South Africa. You will see that your government is so corrupt, so deep into the Chinese pockets, that very soon you will be colonized by the Chinese. They will own all your farms, all your mines, all your infrastructure, your harbors, everything. You will be nothing but slaves. And the government will keep blaming white people to control you. And you will go and burn the schools, and you will go and attack people and do all this stuff. And while you're doing that, they're stealing, raping, and murdering you people. During this pandemic, South Africa, you're on the verge of a massive, massive death toll. Because nobody's listening to the government. Who wants to listen to the government? It's lawless. It's the most lawless government in the world. I'm out of here. You be safe out there. Wash your hands in salt water. Wash your mouths out 3 times a day. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Share, hit the like button, hit the bell, and sign the petition. There's only one thing the ANC hates, and that's not having money. We have to take it away from them. And by taking it away from them, they have no money, no power, no nothing. They're just a voice. And believe me, from the bottom of my heart, this is not about white people. It's about a country I was born in that I see is going to go to hell if we don't do something. South Africa used to be the most religious Christian country in the whole of Africa. It's now run by the devil. I'm asking all the people of South Africa, black and white, stand up as Christians and get rid of this anti-Christian government that is communist, anti-Christ. What is wrong with you people? You have to stand together. And don't listen to the racism. That's how they're controlling you, by dividing you. I'm out of here. Be safe. Subscribe. Sign the petition and share. Take care, everybody.